And so to our finale. For many, the blue ribbon, the men's eights. Defending champions Great Britain eliminated at the repechage stage, so who will be king? In the white boat, France, who made the final in 1964 and again in 1984, then Holland, the American blue boat, next Australia, Canada the white boat, and Germany closest to you in pink.
Well, it was an extraordinary first opening heat right at the beginning of the regatta when the United States just beat the world champions Canada, both of them breaking the world record. Canada's heads went down a little bit. I think they found that really quite a shock, but the United States, certainly their tails were up, and their tails have been up all through this week.
Very interesting, the US crew, of course, Dan. They include the 4 men who were actually triumphant in Lucerne in the men's 4, including Brian Volpenheim in the stroke seat, Bo Hoopman, then Dan Berry, and in the bow, Jason Reed. So Mike Tatey, he has, as he has done in the past, loaded all his talent into this one boat.
Absolutely, because that's what America expects, and Mike Tatey knows that he is coach of the 8. That's what he's there for. And I think the man who's going to really make the difference here is Brian Volpenheim. He's the stroke of the American 8, and he is a fantastic athlete. Gold medalist in 97, 98 and 99. They missed out in 2000, but he was in all of those boats, and he is now stroking this boat. He was at bow, he's now at stroke, and they are leading the field.
And not to forget, Dan, that Germany, who are closest to us in lane 6, this is their last chance. They're still looking for a medal from their men.
Yep, no, the men haven't scored anything. It's the women who've been scoring the medals for Germany. But Canada under a lot of pressure now. They've got to get onto terms with the United States. They're up there now, they're moving well. They've got that long lie back that Mike Spracklin coaches. They've got a lot of send at the end of the stroke, but it is hard to sustain a running streak. The Americans found it so difficult to sustain it back in at the end of the 90s. Canada have won the last 2 World Championships. Very hard to keep it going for a 3rd year because the crew is unchanged bar 1 man.
Canada, who won the Olympic 8s in 1992. They also won it in 1984, but America, well, you've got to go right back some 40 years to find their last success.
Interestingly, that you've got both Australia and the Netherlands putting all their best men into the 8. The French probably slipping back here. There's only 1 man left over from last year, but certainly with Holland, they've put all their top scullers into the boat and they've triumphed. Like they did in Atlanta, they put all their top people into the boat in Atlanta, they won the gold medal. Australia put all their top men here into the 8, and these are the 2 crews that are pursuing Canada at the moment.
Well, coming to the halfway point, and that's an astonishing advantage, Dan, for America.
Absolutely extraordinary. I mean, Brian Volpenheim has taken them away, and Brian Volpenheim has a fantastic last 500-meter sprint. So this isn't all they can do. They've taken this wonderful lead here. Look how he's just sitting there, and they're just pushing it along. They're only at 35 strokes a minute. They are actually in a very, very solid, very, very strong position, rowing technically better than I've seen the United States rowing. They are really rowing well, and Brian Volpenheim is leading them beautifully. They're out there a length, and they've still got a finishing spurt to do.
Yeah, Peter Cipollone, the 33-year-old American coxswain, just keeping his eye on what's happening behind him. And what's happening behind him is that Australia are moving into the silver medal position. Steve Stewart, one of the 3 Stewart brothers in this Australian 8, with Mike Mackay from the famous Awesome Foursome sitting in the 7 seat, picking up that rhythm. And then it's Jeff at 5 and James at 4. The other 2 Stewart brothers in the engine room of that 8, and Australia going well at the moment, and they're getting the better of the argument from Canada.
Yes, Australia very much keen that they wanted to get there. They had a silver medal 4 years ago in Sydney. They really wanted to make sure that they got the gold this year. They'll be disappointed they're not up there with the United States, but they are being put under a lot of pressure now from Holland. Holland in lane 2, beginning to move up there alongside the Australians, and they've taken the lead from them.
Just over 500 metres to go, and this is going the way of the Americans at the moment. Is there anything that the Canadians can do? Seemingly not at the moment, and it is Holland on the far side, and then Australia, Canada in 4th place, and the rest are really out of it. Germany on the near side, too much to do for them to get into the medals, surely, Dan?
Yes, they've got half a length to go to Canada, but the Canadians really struggling. Very, very disappointing for them. World champions last year and the year before, but really run out of it here. They've just slipped right back. attack. United States out in front, being pressed now by Holland. Holland now creeping up to about 3/4 of a length down. Moved on Australia. Australia trying to get back on terms with Holland.
Well, this is absolutely incredible. No one surely can touch the Americans. It's Mike Tatey. We thought it was going to be a duel between Mike Tatey's Americans and Mike Spracklin's Canadians, but the Canadians just simply not in it.
No, slipped right back there, but Holland trying to mount an attack. Wonderful free-flowing movement from the Dutch. They've got such lack of inhibition. They just go for it. But there's a quick look there. Brian Volpenheim looking around, see where they've got to go, making sure that the Australians aren't coming for him. Now he's going to wind it up. They're up to 39 strokes a minute. They're going to wind it for home in this last 200 metres.
Less than that now, Dan. Peter Cipollone, the American coxswain, keeping them up to the task. He wants to make sure that the memory of Sydney is truly erased, and it's looking very, very good. Although, as I say that now, the Dutch getting the deficit down. It was 3/4 of a length. It's now almost half a length that they have to find, but the line is coming, and the victory is secure for the United States, who take the gold ahead of Holland, with Australia in third place and Germany finishing ahead of Canada and France. But so much joy for the Americans, for those who missed out. But what a time for Cipollone, Volpenheim, Hoopman, Berry, Deakin, Hansen, Aarons, Allen and Reid in the water.
Yeah, this Jason, I don't know how he got in there, but look, there's a champion. Very small man, but what a big, big heart and what powerful lungs.
Likewise, Canada, Dan, who'll be mightily disappointed. The world champions of the past 2 seasons, only 5th. And on the other side, Denny Oswald, president of the International Rowing Federation, adding his congratulations to the Dutch for a fantastic silver. And so to the presentation of the gold medals to the American 8. And the man to make that presentation, Matthew Pinsent, achieving 24 hours ago his 4th Olympic gold medal, but now making the presentation in his capacity as a member of the International Olympic Committee's Athletes Commission. Olympic champion Pete Cipollone, who took up the sport of rowing 20 years ago. Here's the stroke, Brian Volpenheim from Cincinnati. First-time Olympian Bo Hoopman, originally from Wisconsin. Dan Beery, another first-timer, a former college basketball player. Californian Matt Deakin in the engine room of the 8. With fellow Californian Joe Hansen, who discovered rowing at Oregon State. Chris Aarons in the 3-seat, who stroked the US 8 to 3 world titles in the 90s, 97, 98 and 99. Wyatt Allen from Portland in Maine, whose hero is record-breaking Tour de France champion Lance Armstrong. And the bowman, a very emotional Jason Reid, who as a fireman and emergency service specialist was recognized for his rescue response to the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks, getting a big hug from Matthew Pinsent.